Hello there, welcome to another episode of War of the Tanks with Ngani Titan, and in this episode I just want to talk about my first experiences with the Snakebite. I got the Snakebite in a personal offer over the period there in the last couple of weeks when I was grinding the various crews using the Poodle, the Skoda T40 and German crew, mostly using the Kraft Panther. I've come to the conclusion the Skoda T40 is an awful tank. It's just dreadful. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the Snakebite. So I got the Snakebite, and I got it with the comic crew, the original comic crew, with the Snakebite perk already trained. Now, played about 40 games in it because I said that I was going to win the Stars and Stripes up today, Sunday. I had pretty much completed the grind on the other crews in that I had at least trained them all up, that they had completed the training on their current skill or perk, and I hadn't really taken them past that into the point where they had tank mastery for the next tank. But they're going in at low tiers anyway, so I'm not going to worry about the tank mastery side of things. So I'm ready probably to start the grind during the week. But I wanted to give some time playing the Snakebite, because I'd never played it, and the IS-2M, if I could. Simply because I wanted to see what they were like. So I very quickly realised the IS-2, the Snakebite's pretty much fun. I mean, even with the standard crew, like you start off with no actual skill except the Snakebite perk. It's still a pretty fun tank. I think it's probably a tank that's at its most fun if you have a platoon of these things. And that can get really annoying to the enemy and be quite a lot of fun for the players. I also came to the conclusion pretty quickly on that this tank is best played for its own sake and for fun. It's not a tank that I would go to for crew training, nor is it a tank that I would go to for silver earning. There are better British tanks for either of those things. I think the tier 8s are pretty good. And I have actually at this point, there's quite a few British tanks that are pretty good crew trainers. This is a tank I would just take out to sort of drive around the place. I think it favours a kind of an active scouting role. It's not the stealthiest of light tanks. And the gun is trash, really. Its gun handling is poor. The only thing really positive that can be said for the gun is that it fires a lot. And because it fires a lot, that makes up for quite a few of its deficiencies. I've decided to go all premium ammunition, simply because the alpha is so low and I think the base penetration is 94mm on the standard rounds, which is very poor, and I think it's 144 for the premium rounds. Now that's quite livable with. I had the benefit, of course, of having the thing with only one tier spread and matchmaking. This thing would probably really struggle. Was it tier 7s, tier 6, tier 7, tier 8s? Yeah. This thing would probably really struggle against tier 8s. Some of the heavier armor tier 8s. I don't think it would actually probably. Some of them wouldn't penetrate at all. I don't know if you could touch a VK 101p with one of these things. But they're fun. Certainly I had a lot of fun today with it. I actually managed to have 4 first class mastery games in my first sort of session with it. I had about 40 games over the course of the day, and not all of them were in this tank. Now, I had quite a few of them in the IS-2, or the IS-2M, sorry, and I had a few of them in one or two other tanks, depending if these things were still involved in battle when I came out of the other one. Like, I switched basically from this to the IS-2M if I died in battle, and I died in battle quite a lot. My survival rate in this thing wasn't huge. You can, I suppose, get it to work as a passive scout as well, but I didn't even attempt to do so. I'm not sure if the meta favours passive scouting at the moment, and if you're in, what do you call it, non-open maps, a lot of the maps don't favour passive scouting anyway, they more favour an active scouting kind of role. But you will pick up a lot of damage as long as you're in position to see enemies while your allies are, should we say, in a position to shoot them. It is possible to get around a map really fast, spot things really early, but you have to stay alive and you have to stay around long enough for your allies to get in a position to shoot these enemies. And then you can pick up quite a lot of damage. Whereas, let's see now, here I mostly picked up tracking damage from that Black Prince. I'd say it was the bulk of that assisted damage. But we managed to do 1500 regular damage. And I have managed to do, I think, over 2000 in one of the games. Game number 1 by experience. And a first class mastery. In a strong enough tier 7 game. In fact, I think a lot of the time today my matchmaking seemed to be bottom tier. So the tier 6s was bottom tier and the IS2M was bottom tier quite a lot, although it was top tier I think more often. So the second battle we're in is Fisherman's Bay, which is kind of an ideal map for this tank actually, because it has very good scouting opportunities. On Fisherman's Bay, I reckon the best scouting opportunities are going to be the village in the centre at the map. This isn't a tank that I would probably take into a passive scouting position or try and spot enemies from a bush. Fisherman's Bay isn't a great map for that kind of activity. Anyway, you want a really good tank to do it. You're talking about really going over on the edge of the map. But usually there's so many light tanks and medium tanks patrolling the village and coming around. There's a very good chance they'd spot you because they will have the view range to break down your camouflage. So you might as well keep moving. And the advantage of this tank really is that it's speed and just the difficulty of hitting it because of that. Don't overcommit is part of the secret as well. That Snakebite came out just too far and just ran across too many tanks and has basically achieved nothing for his team. The other one is going to be far more effective scout. So we're going in, we're coming around, lose the spot, go back in, go out again. It's the usual thing. You want to find out where the enemy are going. And you want to ideally light them up if they're coming from the village in strength, so that the people behind you can get into position to shoot them. Now we're not getting much support here. We've 1 or 2 tanks that are in a position to support us. Possibly the tank destroyers are committing very heavily on the one line. But fortunately, the enemy aren't pushing the village that strongly. I think if they were, probably some of our tanks would have relocated anyway. So in, out we go, and so far we're not picking up a whole lot. However, we have a medium tank that's gone right up the one line, and he is starting to light up some tanks as well. So I'm going to sit back here if I get the opportunity. A Yak Panther. If I thought I was going to get the side of the Yak Panther there, and it looked like I was for a second, but it does take a while for this gun to aim in, and you really have to give it all the time it needs. It's got a fast rate of fire, so once you're not moving and the gun is settled, you can actually keep shooting at a target. Now, whether you get penetration every time you fire is a different story. But you'll fire fast enough and you'll get enough penetration to make it worthwhile doing it anyway, unless it's some tank that is just impossible for you to penetrate at all. You know, there's certain tanks that you might have trouble with, no matter how simply because they're so heavily armoured, depending on the game tiers, the tiers you're up against. But with tier 7s, it will eventually go through most of the tier 7s, and the thing is, you won't really be able to hit weak spots at range. So we're spotted, we get out of there. Don't hang around. There's no percentage in it, we might as well keep the enemy pinned down and keep them under observation. And there's an absolution holding out there, and he has taken more damage. And well, I don't know if we're going to penetrate him. If we get a shot onto the roof, like of the turret, we probably would. But anywhere along the sides, we probably have no chance. The rounds, as you can see, are going all over the place. Some of them are hitting where the reticle is pointing. Some are going up and actually hitting the roof of the turret and as dropping, plunging fire, so to speak. So anyway, we're not spotted, but we spotted the artillery. And this is just too good a target to miss, so I'm going to stop, make sure the gun aims in. And will we get the final shot? Yes, we do. So this is one of the enemy artilleries out of play, and the enemy are now making it into our cap circle. So I'm coming around here. That iffy, what is it, 201 black, needs to be taken out because he's threatening our artillery and we need to get him. And there's a tiger who's decided to come after me. So I'm going to run away, see if I can fall back towards allies. Don't mind the tiger coming after me if he follows me out over here. However, our tank destroyer looks like it's going after the artillery, so I thought I'd turn around and support the tank destroyer. I was going to look at supporting the guys up in the northwest, but the IKV is exchanging fire with a Tiger 1, and normally I'd expect the Tiger to win that kind of fight, but the IKV's managed to do it. And there's the enemy Snakebite, put a round into him. We stop him, we ram him, and now it's a DPM fight, and I got the more hit points. We're both roughly going to be doing the same amounts of damage. When we've gotten rid of him, an AMX M445, just get into the low ground, put the slope of the ground between myself and him, and let other people do the shooting for me. And that's racking me up, spotting assisted damage there, and a nice piece of it too. Only 2 enemy tanks remaining. And, well, the artillery is going to be up in the north eastern side of the map, but whatever it is, the remaining tank destroyer could be anywhere as far as I know. However, he's just been spotted at the edge of the cap circle, so now we know both tanks are up there around. So we have 2 tanks pushing in across the north. We have a tank in the village and a guy leaving our rear zone as well. So I reckon if I come around by the water's edge, I might have a good chance of catching people unawares or whatever. And around I come, around the back of the houses. I have been spotted. So, and I haven't spotted anybody else, but I spot the artillery. And that, well, the Panther, or the Yak Panther just shot me, and artillery makes the mistake of sitting still. With 2 enemy artillery in play, particularly when it's a platoon of our artillery, they coordinate. One of them could say he's hitting the other one, and the other one hits, split the targets between them and actually know that they're doing it. It just looks like what they were doing. However, before I get around to moving to the correct tank, the Yak Panther, I think, is taken out. Although we did lose another tank, I think, in the process. But no, he's not dead yet. There, he's gone now. But I think he did manage to kill one of our tanks. However, that's it, game over. 1000 spotting damage, 1500 regular damage. And we look at the final screen, and we have, what do you call it? First class mastery. But we got a scout medal. We had 9 detected tanks. So it's my first scout medal in this tank as well. And we came number 1 by experience again on a tier 7 game. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment, and if you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.